Like
Yeah.
being honest with my kids is really important to me. Like
Yeah.
saying how I feel, I am not feeling really good about how things are going. I'm a little nervous about things. And just so that they, first of all, see me as a person and know that it's okay for them to express those things out loud.
Welcome everybody to the Edwin Teacher Talk. We're so happy that you have joined in. I'm Jody Denny. I'm a classroom success facilitator with Edwin. And what that means is I support Edwin teachers and I coach you and mentor you on how to integrate educational technology and Edwin into what you're already doing. And honestly speaking, I love what I do. I love meeting new teachers, connecting one-on-one, building relationships, and working together to come up with new strategies on how to best support our students. A little bit about me. I am a visual arts and a social and history teacher. I have 3 kids. I love fitness and wellness, and I won't go on anymore about myself. It's really actually about the Edwin teachers. And that is why we created this Teacher Talk. We wanted a platform where the Edwin user can shine their voice and share inspiration and ideas with others. And that's really how we can learn how we can integrate Edwin and technology into our classroom, is connecting to one another. Today, I have with us 2 awesome teachers. I have Sherry Ross, who is also on our Edwin Classroom Success team. And I have Dave Allen, who is a superstar teacher from Alberta. So today we're going to be talking about how can we support our students and how can we support ourselves with this transition. So talking about the social emotional learning, if you attended our Back to Edwin Institute or the webinar actually on social emotional learning, our colleague Jessica gave a really great learning experience on Dr. David Tratner, and I'm going to read this so I don't get it wrong. He did a study with 600 teachers, and he asked them, what is your main concerns going into this uncertain school year? And almost all of the teachers expressed an issue around SEL, social emotional well-being, for their students and for themselves. So I'm just going to read 3 quotes on what some of those teachers said. Teachers need permission to focus intentionally on building relationships versus focusing on catching up with missed learning. That was 1. Most important question we will ask our students this year is, how are you? I worry about myself as well as, will I be able to be the educator I want to be if I'm physically distant and can't promote close collaboration? So how do you guys think the school closures and virtual learning and just being out of the classroom for this long has impacted our students? Anyone take the floor on that?
Well, I can go ahead. I've been tutoring all summer, and although I'm also not returning to the classroom this fall.
Okay.
As a teacher, but I have friends and colleagues who I share their anxieties with them, and I'm very much involved in that whole process still. And in terms of tutoring, I've heard over and over from my students about how much they miss their friends and their teachers. Mm-hmm. They miss seeing them and talking to them and spending time with them face to face. And I anticipate that means that some students won't know how to manage those overwhelming emotions they're going to feel upon seeing everyone again. So some of those responses might be extreme or even inappropriate, right? And I think, those of us who are very optimistic, we have this impression in our minds that it's going to be this great big happy reunion, right? Where everybody sees everybody again. But there are students who are going to become overwhelmed by that, by others excited to see them, and they're unable to process that emotion, but they're also unable to process their own. Some students are going to bring with them the inability to communicate. And some of those social skills may have devolved in the past 6 months, being quarantined with just their family. Alternatively, some students are coming back from homes that might not have been entirely safe. And they've had to deal with their guardians' stressors related to COVID and work, which would further impact their social emotional well-being. So there's a lot to consider. And I guess it just brings me back to my last response about what's within my power to ensure that these barriers don't inhibit learning for my students.
Dave, how do you feel like your students are high school students, right?
Yeah.
How do you think it's impacted them?
I think it's been really tough for them, especially in the school that I teach. It's a farming community, so most of the kids grew up on the farm, and more than any other school that I've taught in, it's really kind of, they don't really use technology that much. They're still used to, working outside, seeing each other in person, and so to have that taken away from them was super difficult. And just like the first time that we were able to get together as a school again, or like as a virtual classroom, they were just seeing each other's faces was so exciting. And I mean, they're in high school. These are late teens, and they're still, it's so good to see them, boys and girls. They were.
I just want to read you guys this quote that I just thought of, that I found on a teacher that I follow on Instagram. His name is Dustin Ecker. Follow him. He's awesome. He wrote this: "We teach students before curriculum. We reach souls before standards. We teach character before content, in that order, or it's not really teaching at all." So like you guys were mentioning, it totally is about the relationships. Like when they say it takes a village, it's because, students need those different perspectives. They need the connections. They need the friendship to really feel whole, right? It's like it feeds their social well-being. So I agree. It's definitely been a hit on their social emotional relationship building. Do you guys have any ideas of what kind of supports and practical ways can we reach our students and build on their social emotional learning so that, they feel it's a safe place to talk, they feel like they can de-stress, and make that classroom environment open and welcoming for them?
That's for me, that's a tricky one. Like, I'm not sure the best way. I was excited coming here to hear what you had to say, because I wasn't sure what to say for this. I do know that at least it's important to, build that trusting environment. Like being honest with my kids is really important to me. Like saying how I feel, I am not feeling really good about how things are going. I'm a little nervous about things. And just so that they, first of all, see me as a person and know that it's okay for them to express those things out loud.
Right.
And so I guess that's pretty much the only thing I have for, like, I need ideas, so please help me.
Well, I can add on to that. I totally agree, Dave. I think that's a really key feature. And you're right. We have to model for our students what an appropriate way to process this time and our emotions, right? Also, I know from experience that typically when an individual's emotions feel out of control for that person, their response is to try to control other aspects of their lives. And we can actually do that. We can facilitate that for our students by increasing our flexibility and providing opportunities for them to choose or to be in control in their learning. So by providing student agency and relaxing our, typically tightly held control over learning, I think not only will we be more relaxed, but I think that'll translate to students and reduce their stress levels as well. And then also by providing flexibility and opportunities for them to explore at their own pace and complete practice at their own pace and that kind of thing, within certain parameters, of course. I think we can alleviate some anxiety and stress that's associated with meeting sometimes invisible expectations, or expectations that are difficult to meet due to barriers like missing school or being pulled from school or other family stressors that inhibit their time. And the nice thing is that with access to Edwin, teachers can take comfort in knowing that they can let their students loose and provide that, like, relinquish control, and their students will still be learning. Even if they're exploring Edwin independently, their learning will still be happening. So, one thing you could do is just create collections of activities for them to engage in and provide a window of time in which they need to complete those activities. But then kids will have the flexibility to complete what is easiest for them at a time when it is easiest for them. And then structured within that, you can set expectations like benchmarks and that kind of thing, and make sure students are still making progress, and that teachers are able to meet deadlines, but reducing stress levels to like all around and relinquishing managerial control, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I like that. Yeah.
Have that domino effect that like, okay, you're freaking out because you don't have no say in this. I'm going to give you some say in one part of your life. And that should just sort of bring those levels down.
I like that. I think sometimes it takes like a small thing to alleviate stress. Like if a deadline is stressing a student out, like who cares about a deadline? Like let's just give them like a little bit of leeway. Mm-hmm. There's already so much anxiety. Like I know my daughter is going into grade 4 and, you know, she's very excited to see her friends, very excited to connect to teachers. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, you know, she's like, Mommy, I'm scared. What if someone like takes their mask off for a minute? And she's like, Mom, can you make me a little secret hole in my mask so I can keep the mask on while I eat? Like there's so many anxieties already going on in their mind. Like if we can just take away a firm deadline, like let's just take it away, you know, like it's just the small things that will give them that, like alleviate their stress and pressure. And then another thing, Sherry, that you made me think of is giving them different formats to show their understanding. So, for example, if you're used to them sending in reports or having them doing written responses, why not give them like a video creation instead? Let them do a video diary, or you know, using WeVideo to you know, do like some sort of vlog to assess them. So giving them the different choices and different ways to present their understanding also alleviates stress and gives them more, as you said, more autonomy and more self-choice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you guys again so much for joining this discussion. For everybody tuning in and listening and watching our teacher talk today, please comment below if you would love to participate and be a part of this discussion with us. We would love to have you on. And let us know, what topics do you guys want us to talk about? What do you want to hear? What conversations do you want this teacher talk to be having? We really want to be teacher informed and want to put out what you guys are interested in. So please comment below. We would love for you to take part in this discussion.